Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture, and today we're going to be going over the attack that happened to Jussie Smollett. So January 29, 2019, in Chicago, Jussie was attacked by two men with ski masks on. He was walking out of a fast food restaurant, and they ended up attacking him, saying like racial and homophobic slurs, and pretty much put a noose on his neck. And he was able to fight them off in some way, and he went to and he admitted himself into the hospital. Apparently, the two men also decided to pour bleach on him, and also is telling him that this is MAGA country now. So there's so many things to kind of run through with this one situation. So first of all, it's still bugs the shit out of me how people think that we're much more advanced in the world than we really are. We're not. It bugs me because it's not the fact that people are. Well, no, it is. There's some people out there that are still naive to the fact that we are living in a very dangerous nation as it is right now. Like before, we always have been in some ways, especially being a POC, being queer, being a woman, being like those in the minorities. It's still a big deal, and I made a video of this before. If you check it out. But pretty much this is a huge example of my video, and it's funny because people will be so surprised over this. Like, that happened, how that happened? I was like, this happens a lot. So where I live, there's been at least, like, for the past couple of years, there's been at least 10 plus assaults against gay men coming out of bars and everything. And there's fights that happened with one of my friends got into a fight a couple of years ago at a bar against another guy who, when he was trying to hit on her, and she didn't want anything to do with him because she was lesbian, and now she also has a girlfriend, and so it just got to this huge thing where he started wanting to fight her, and it just bugs the shit out of me. And I know this is a very delicate topic that I'm going to go into, but it's one of the things that just needs to be said. And since it's my own fucking channel, I think it's a perfect time to say this. So, because it goes on to the reason it's happened, and it's on the same spectrum of it. But we still have a lot of straight people that think that we are safe, that us queer people are safe, that we don't have any cares in the world, that we can just take anything that they throw at us and we're totally fine, which is not the case. We have a lot of stress every single day. Every single time we go to any place that's not a city, it gets so nerve-wracking. Like, for me personally, and I check a lot of boxes, and it scares the shit out of me. I could be attacked for any bit of who I am, and there's a lot of white straight people that don't see it that way. They're like, oh, it's not a big deal, and there's been a lot of white gay men, lesbians, stuff like that has been attacked before too, and we're still in a part of the world where we still need to understand that we're not safe yet. The minorities are not safe yet. And this is in Jussie's situation is a huge example of why we're not safe in a lot of places. And it does make a lot of sense for us to have our guard up when we come across a group of men walking past us. When we see a group of men walking to our bars, walking into our clubs, it's always been a huge thing, and I understand that we are opening our doors as queer people. We're opening our doors to having people coming to our bars, coming to our clubs, and everything. But I've seen fights inside gay bars against a straight person and a gay person or a queer person, and it's an ongoing thing, and it's why it's why us queer people get so nervous and get a little irritated when we see a group of straight people coming into our bars that are acting rowdy, that are they're hogging the jukebox and playing their songs and basically taking over our bar. It is our bar, and I don't care if it comes off as me being not inclusive or anything. It's not. It has nothing to do with being inclusive. It has to do with boundaries, respect, and when you walk into somebody's house, you respect their house. You don't go around and do your own fucking thing and just do and I know this has something to do with it's on the spectrum of what we're talking about over this, and it just bugs the shit out of me. And it's one of those things. It happened before too, and this will make a lot of sense when I wrap it around. So one of the times I went to this event. It's called Lazy Bear, and I went, and we were in each place of this where it's located. There's different in each inn. There's a pool party for this event. And because no one else is really there around this time anyway, and if they are, they don't really go to those hotels anyway. So, and they're very expensive. So, one of the inns had a nude party, and so a nude pool party, and with this clothing optional and everything. And so this woman was outside, and she was just getting pissed because she couldn't get in, and she wasn't staying there. She was literally coming into town with her friends, and she must have messed them, because I remember seeing her earlier, but she must have divided from them in some way. But she was arguing with the bouncer about how she has the right to go in, and she's American, and she has the right to be anywhere where she wants to be. And the thing that people have to understand is that no, you do not have the right to you don't have the right to that. You do not have the right to invade a minority space. You do not have the right to that. If they say no, you walk the fuck away and respect that. That's clear. It's common fucking sense. It's common sense. And it pisses me off how people kind of say, oh, that's not fair. It's not fair. I thought we're all inclusive. You guys are all inclusive. Yes, we are inclusive. We are very inclusive. But we also aren't we also have a lot of history with the straight community being appropriating our stuff, taking over our safe zones, our safe places that we feel safe and comfortable about going in or getting nude or being around other people, because the straight safe space is everywhere. Anywhere you can walk outside, it's everywhere. And it pisses me off that the minute you say that, they're like, it's not fair. And it's like, no, it is fair. And I think that it's the way I can only explain it to you is that what if there was a women's festival like, what was that one? Lilith Fair? Well, that's not, I don't really actually, I'll backtrack because I don't really know that much about it. But let's just go on the broader way. What if there was a women's festival or a women's retreat event going on where it's specifically for women, just for women, that's all it is for. And they're having a part where you can get, they had same situation, there's a pool and it's clothing optional, so women can kind of dress down to whatever comfortability they have. And there's a man outside that's yelling that he has a right to be in your space. It's exactly the same thing, and it pisses me off that there's still people out there that don't see it that way. Like, it's one of those things that if I want to go somewhere, which is honestly common sense that says, if there's an event, this is an event for bears, or this is an event for this minority group, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's how it goes. It's fine. I'll just go somewhere else. It's not, I have the right to be here and da da da. It's not what you say. It's not what you say. And I get that we're getting to a point where we're starting to tolerate a lot of things. We're starting to include everybody in different things. We're starting to feed into the queer space. We're trying to feed into, we're waking ourselves into what it is like to be queer, what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be Black, what it's like to be Mexican, what it's like to be Latino, and what it's like to be in, hopefully this happens, because we still haven't got to that point, is what it's like to be Asian in America too, but we still have a shit tons of people that don't see it that way. They just think that they have the right to be in people's spaces. And once again, and the thing is that if it doesn't apply to you, then congratulations, you are doing great. If it does apply to you, then you obviously know why you need to change your attitude and change your way of doing stuff. And I get, and I get that we're in a world where everything is a little sensitive. We have a lot of people that are woke warriors that are fighting for stuff that they don't really understand, and there have the other side of people that are just like, we've been fighting for this thing for years, and it's about time we finally get some recognition, some like people start seeing stuff, seeing what we're doing, and it's just, and so having Jussie going out, and he can't even walk down the street without getting jumped by two men who have homophobic issues and racist issues against him, is a reason why we say, when we say this is a safe space, respect the space that we go into, you do it. It's not that hard, and I'm really glad that Jussie's okay. I really hope that this gets a lot of coverage. I hope it goes through the February about this, because we need to understand that minority groups like us need to be respected and need to be known, and we need to wake up America and understand that yes, we live in that Trump world is racist. Having Trump in this whole thing opened up a lot of doors for people that felt like it was okay to be racist and to say whatever they want. All like the common sense and lack of courtesy and lack of politeness has gone completely out the window in a lot of places, and we need to understand that we need to be safe, and we understand that we need to educate a lot of people about how big racism, homophobicism, and if that's a word, if I said it right, and a lot of things, just like it's still out there. There's still a lot of hateful people in America, and we're very self-righteous, hateful people in America. There's a lot of them there, and they need to take responsibility for what they've done, and we need to also shine a harder light on them, to show like they need to change their way of thinking, and this is not the first time. Just because Jussie is one of the many times that this has happened, and I really hope that this wakens up a little more, puts a little more fire under people's asses to understand what's going on. Excuse me. And also, we haven't heard anything from Trump say anything about this, so it's just like, and I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not, if you're gonna say something on the bottom, I'm sure it's gonna be racist or homophobic, blah, 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 it's something, I've heard it before. But I will say this, is that Trump didn't say anything about it. He hasn't said anything about it, and that shows you the person he is as a president. Obama, everybody else has said something about different things when it happens. He said nothing. He's focusing on this fucking wall that's not going to do anything, even if it's made. So, yeah. So, once again, I'm happy that Jussie's okay, and in the comments, tell me what you thought. What was your thoughts when it happened? Have you had that same type of thing happen to you? Please let your voice be heard, because I really feel like people need to hear these stories and hear the reality of how hard it is and how crazy it is out there. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video.